The ball might move round a great deal through the air. You were out in the middle earlier, Jim. How did the pitch look then?
Good morning, Richie, and good morning, everyone. There's still a fair bit of moisture in the pitch, but that should disappear pretty quickly. If the openers can get through the early overs, then they should be able to build a good total, as the pitch will be great for batting. The bowlers need to keep a full length early on to try to take advantage of the moisture in the pitch. A tough call, perhaps a good toss to lose. Back to you, Richie.
Campbell is going to face the first ball of the innings. The total is now no wicket for 6. Hines is now on strike. It's straight at Fleming. The total is now no wicket for... It's straight at Adams. West Indies are no wicket for 9. That over eased the pressure on the batting team. Dillon to begin a new over, 316 runs required. Run required. That's out of the ground. He smashed that a long way.
That's a super shot. I really didn't think it was too bad a ball.
So they need 310 to win from 9-6 balls. play, but the fielder got that one off. Oh, he's put it down.
His captain doesn't look very happy at all. You really need to hold chances like that.
309, run wide. Stop by.
The one-day fielding restrictions really give attacking batsmen an advantage at the start of the innings.
Oh well, let's take a look at the scorecard. Cuffy to Fleming. The required run rate is around 6 and over. Fleming waiting at the striker's end. He looked as if he was home to me. Stopped by Samuels. I think he was easily back in the crease there.
The fielding restrictions provide the opportunity for attacking batsmen to score some fast early runs.
Dillon to begin a new over. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. Dillon at the start of his run-up. It's in the air. That's the first boundary for Aston. New Zealand move on to 13. Dillon to bowl to Aston. That's speeding to the boundary. Perfectly timed shot for 4.
Well played. He got into perfect position for that shot. Head over the ball. Weight going forward.
47 overs are left in the innings.
The batsmen are off to a flying start. If they keep this up, then the target will be no problem at all.
Fleming facing. The required run rate is around 6 and over. Super wicket keeping. Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off. New Zealand, no wicket for 18. It's straight at Cooper. There's a mix-up with the batsman. The umpire's not certain, so he's requesting the third umpire. He was pushing his luck a little there. Astle facing. New Zealand have taken their total on to no wicket for 22. That's too short, and it's been dispatched before. That takes him into double figures.
New Zealand will be very pleased with this start to their innings.
The required run rate is around 6 and over. That's straight up in the air. Fleming moves into double figures with those runs. Dillon continues. It's high in the air. Fleming won't miss anything bowled too full.
That was beautifully played. He was well over the top of the ball.
No wicket for 34. Dillon continues. Dillon continues. That's gone high in the air. Fleming has moved into the 20s and is starting to look far more relaxed. That's the end of the 5th over.
The bowler didn't keep it tight enough there. I'd be surprised if he stays in the attack.
Cuffy to begin a new over. The required run rate is around 6 and over. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. The total is now no wicket for 40. It's high in the air, dropped.
At this level of cricket, you really can't afford to drop your catches.
So they need 275 to win from 268 balls. He looked as if he was home to me. Steered expertly into the gap. Collected by Lara. There's a mix-up with the batsman. Cuffy bowled that bouncer just perfectly.
He looks really fired up today. That was certainly a very quick delivery.
271 runs required. New Zealand have taken their total on to no wicket for 46. It's high in the air. A great take by Lara.
Well held. It must have stung his hands coming down from that height.
Fleming is making his way back to the pavilion. That over helped the run rate somewhat. The new batsman comes in at the non-striker's end. Now the run rate stands at just over 6 and over. There'll be runs here. Stopped in the covers. Dillon to bowl to Astle. Super wicket keeping. The score is now 1 for 48. Dillon at the start of his run-up. Onto that one. Astle has moved into the 20s and is starting to look far more relaxed. That brings up the 50 for New Zealand. Dillon continues. Hit straight at Lara. We're about to see the first bowling change. Now the run rate stands at just over 6 and over. One now for 53. Astle facing. Super wicket keeping. A long hop and punish. You really can't afford to pitch short on this track.
The bowlers really need to keep it tight at this stage of the match.
1 for 57. Hit straight at Powell. 42 overs are left for New Zealand. Dillon to begin a new over. The required run rate has crept up to around 6 and over. New Zealand move on to 58. Hit straight to a fielder. Dillon at the start of his run-up. Stopped in the covers. In the air and gone.
Brilliant catch. The batsman can't believe he hung on to that.
So then, that's the end of Sinclair.
He hasn't managed to make the scorers work much with that innings.
The next batsman is Vincent. A very good over. Only one offered in the end. McLean to begin a new over. The required run rate has crept up to around 6 and over. That's cleared the infield. Super shot by Aston.
He really laid into that delivery. 4 runs all the way.
McLean at the start of his run-up. McLean continues. Stopped by Campbell. Vincent facing. I think he was easily back in the crease there. That's too short. 4 runs. That was a real textbook shot.
Great shot. That seemed to rocket to the boundary.
That's the end of the 10th over. Dillon to begin a new over. The run rate stands at just under 6 and over. They have 40 overs to get to 4-7. Vincent facing. Dillon continues. Dillon had the batsman in a lot of trouble with that one.
He looks really fired up today. That was certainly a very quick delivery.
Dillon at the start of his run-up. And that's out. Caught by King.
Excellent catch. The batsman can't believe he held on to that.
Lovely catch. He's got a great pair of hands. Astle eventually goes for 37.
That's poor batting. He lost his concentration and paid for it with his wicket.
McMillan is the new batsman for New Zealand. Dillon gets his 2nd wicket. New Zealand are 3 down now for 70. .39 overs are left in the innings. The new batsman won't have to face just yet. The required run rate has crept up to around 6 and over. Stopped by King. That's straight up in the air. That's the first boundary for Vincent. McLean to bowl to Vincent. That's gone high in the air. You can't afford to bowl that in there.
That was a beautifully played leg glance. Right off the face of the bat, just turning the wrists as it got to him.
New Zealand move on to 78. Overs are left in the innings. The run rate stands at just under 6 and over. Stopped by Samuels. Brilliantly done. That really is a suicidal run out.
A wonderful fielding there. He was onto that ball so quickly.
Cairns waits his first ball. Dillon was unlucky there.
That's a fine delivery. He had to play it.
Dillon at the start of his run-up. It's in the air. That's the first boundary for Macmillan. McLean to begin a new over. Raiders looking more and more out of reach here. Ooh, that looked quite nasty. He's passed that one over the and wait. It's the first boundary for Cairns.
Could be out of the attack.
Now. 2 runs wide. That was let us talk about people. Overs are left for New Zealand. Miller, the run rate is around 6 and over. That's gone high in the air. Length quickly with that one.
There's a perfect example of how to play that shot. He deserved 4 runs for it.
McMillan is now facing. Gosh, that must have hurt. Hit straight at Hooper. McLean to begin a new over. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. That takes him into double figures. That's gone high in the air.
The bowler can't believe it, but it is out of the ground. 6 runs.
That moves the score into 3 figures for New Zealand. McLean to Macmillan. McLean at the start of his run-up. Hit straight to a fielder. McLean at the start of his run-up. So they need 209 to win from 205 balls. McLean to bowl to Cairns. .34 overs are left for New Zealand. There's a change in the bowling with the off-spin of Hooper. The required run rate is around 6 and over. Stopped in the covers. So they need 207 to win from 202 balls.
Go! Go!
It's beaten the fielder, but it won't go all the way. Amazing catch.
Well done, the fieldsman. He really backed up the bowler's effort.
McMillan has gone for 16. Nevin is the new batsman for New Zealand. New Zealand are 5 down now for 110. stopped by Samuels. 33 overs are left in the innings. McLean to begin a new over. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. There it goes. Cairns really takes advantage of anything over pitch.
That was beautifully played. He was well over the top of the ball.
The score is now 5 for and 1 4. I think he was easily back in the crease there. New Zealand move on to 1-5. That's out of the ground. That was still going up as it cleared the rope.
Well, he just picked that right off his nose and smashed it over the boundary. Thrilling to watch.
New Zealand 5 for and 21. Nevin waiting at the striker's end. He's worked that into the gap. Dillon just picks that up inside the rope. He didn't quite get hold of that one properly. The batsmen are coming back for 3. So there was 16 off that over. The required run rate is around 5.5 and over. That's a fantastic strike. Cooper won't like that at all.
It doesn't really matter if it goes in the air if you hit it that far.
5, now 4 and 32. Cooper to Nevin. Overpitched and crashed away. Nevin has now moved into the 20s. Cooper is beginning to lose his line and length. Cooper to bowl to Nevin. Cairns facing. He's worked that into the gap. 31 overs are left in the innings. McLean to begin a new over. The required run rate is around 5.5 and over. Great shot by Cairns. Cairns has moved into the 20s and is starting to look far more relaxed. They have 31 overs to get, 174. He's got that one over the infield and away for 4. Gave that some fearful hammer.
He hit that over the field superbly.
And 70 runs required. McLean at the start of his run-up. I think he was easily back in the crease there. Super wicket keeping. So they need 169 to win from 182 balls. Hit straight to a fielder. McLean at the start of his run-up. That's the end of the 20th over. Now the run rate stands at just over 5.5 and over. Hooper at the start of his run-up. Overpitched and 4. Give this player width and you'll be punished.
Gave the batsman too much room there. 4 runs.
The total is now 5 for 152. It'll be 4 more to the total. That was a nice bit of timing.
Lovely shot. It raced away to the fence for 4.
Eight runs came from that over for New Zealand. The required run rate is around 5 and over. He's struggling to get back here. Batsmen will have to be more careful now, having got away with that.
West Indies are bowling too many wides out there. They need to keep it tighter.
They have 29 overs to get 157. They have 29 overs to get 156. McLean continues. New Zealand are 5 for 160. McLean continues. Steered expertly into the gap. I think he was easily back in the crease there. The total is now 5 for 161. Stopped by Lara. Short and smash for 4. He was onto that in a flash.
That was a really good shot. He looks in top form out there.
Hooper to continue with his off spin. Now the run rate stands at just over 5 and over. He's worked that into the gap. Hit straight to a fielder. I think he was easily back in the crease there. That's racing away for 4. Looks in good form out there.
Fantastic shot there. He knew it was 4 as soon as he struck it.
There it goes. .27 overs are left for New Zealand. McLean to begin a new over. The required run rate is around 5 and over. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. Dillon reaches it before it crosses the boundary. Pushed into the gap. Batsmen are coming back for 2. There's a mix-up with the batsman. He was struggling there, but somehow he's got away with it. Batsmen are coming back for 2. He's worked that into the gap. The batsmen are after 2. There's a mix-up with the batsman. 26 overs are left in the innings. Hooper at the start of his run-up. The required run rate is around 5 and over. Hooper to Nevin. I think he was easily back in the crease there. Our shot. You can't afford to bowl that in there.
He plays that shot really well and it brings him lots of runs.
That's superb bowling from Hooper. The total is now 5 for 183. That's the halfway mark, 25 overs. We're about to see a change in the bowling. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. There it goes. A perfectly timed shot for 4.
What can I say about that shot? He looks in top form today.
Cairns waiting at the striker's end. Dillon to bowl to Cairns. It's high in the air, and there's a fielder under it.
Well held. Must have stung his hands coming down from that height.
And eventually goes for 47.
That's disappointing. He got himself in and should have gone on to score more runs.
The next batsman is Adams. That has to be close. No response on the umpire. I thought it looked very, very close.
Well, Richie just about out of line. Not out. Good decision.
Total is now 6-1-1. 8 runs came out over to begin a new over. The run rate is around 5 and over. Good decision for me. Adams is now facing. It's in the air. He probably worked that one a little bit.
But it's gone for 6.
That's straight up in the air. Adams, who moves into double figures with those runs. 6 now for 201. This over is proving rather costly to West Indies. Hooper continues. It's high in the air. That was a nice bit of timing.
He picked his spot well there, a glorious boundary.
23 overs are left in the innings. Dillon to begin a new over. Now the run rate stands at just over 4.5 and over. Dillon continues. Oh, that's close. And the umpire's given it. Nevin is finally out for 48. That was a fine innings from Nevin.
Well, with the fall of that wicket, they'll be hoping to mop up the tail quickly.
Harris is the next man in. Short and smash for 4. That's the first boundary for Harris. Dillon to Harris. Gone over the top of that, and it looks like 4 runs. Really looks in fine nick today.
Well, he's only been out there for a few minutes and he timed that perfectly.
22 overs are left for New Zealand. The run rate stands at just under 4.5 and over. That's through the gap, and it'll go for 4. Well, he's seeing it like a beach ball out there now.
Cracking shot. He's in great form.
They have 22 overs to get, 97. That's gone high in the air. Adams has now moved into the 20s. So they need 93 to win from 130 balls. There it goes. Picked up very early by Adams. Hit straight to a fielder. That over eased the pressure on the batting team. There's a change in the bowling for West Indies. The required run rate is around 4 and over. Great shot by Harris. That takes him into double figures. There it goes. That was 6 all the way. King is beginning to lose his line and length. That's straight up in the air. Harris has now moved into the 20s. Long hop and dispatch for 4. The crowd really enjoyed that shot.
It gave the batsman too much room there. 4 runs.
That's the end of the 30th over. Well, let's take a look at the scorecard. Hooper to begin a new over. The required run rate is around 3.5 and over. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. Hooper continues. New Zealand have taken their total on to 7 for 247. Adams facing. Steered expertly into the gap. Collected by Dillon.
Really good running there by the batsman. That can in turn force mistakes by the fielding team as they come under pressure.
Harris is now facing. Got it into the gap. Hooper at the start of his run-up. That's a cracking shot. He watched that onto the bat perfectly.
What can I say about that shot? He looks in top form today.
King to begin a new over. The run rate stands at just under 3 and over. King at the start of his run-up. Overpitched and 4. Timed that on drive to perfection.
The bowler didn't do too much wrong there. It was just an excellent shot.
New Zealand are 7 for 261. King at the start of his run-up. Pushed into the gap. Batsmen are coming back for a third. Seven, now for 264.
Good running between the wickets can add those extra few runs to the total that can really make a difference when it comes down to the wire.
King to bowl to Harris. It's straight at Samuels. We're going to need the third umpire for this one. Overs are left in the innings. Hooper to continue with his off-spin. The run rate stands at just under 2.5 and over. He's worked that into the gap. The batsmen are in trouble here. He looked as if he was home to me. 7, now for 266. Hooper at the start of his run-up. He's worked that into the gap. That's in the air, but it's 4 runs. There's a nice bit of timing.
That was beautifully played. He was well over the top of the ball.
So they need 45 to win from 105 balls. There should be some runs here. McLean out at long on. 17 overs are left in the innings. King to begin a new over. The run rate stands at just under 2.5 and over. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. King to bowl to Adams. It's beaten the fielder, but it won't go all the way. The batsmen are coming back for a second. Picked up on the boundary by Campbell. King continues. There should be some runs here. There it goes. That really was a super stroke.
The bowler didn't do too much wrong there. It was just an excellent shot.
The batsman will have to run these. That's 9 off the over now. This over is proving to be quite expensive. King continues. It's in the air. Ten runs came from that over by King. The required run rate looks a fairly comfortable 2 and over. Pushed into the gap. They have 16 overs to get. 33. Harris facing. The batsman will have to run these. Campbell just picks that up inside the rope. New Zealand move on to 285. That's straight up in the air. Really looks in fine nick today.
The batsman wasn't going to miss that opportunity. He was on it in a flash.
New Zealand, 7 foot, 291. There's a mix-up with the batsman. That's the end of the 35th over. King continues. The required run rate looks a fairly comfortable 1.5 and over. The batsman will have to run these. Crowd are standing and applauding. That's a great moment for him. There's his half century. Harris waiting at the striker's end. He's worked that into the gap. So they need 21 to win from 87 balls. King to bowl to Adams. It's beaten the fielder, but it won't go all the way. He can enjoy this as he's had to work very hard for it. Adams has reached his 50 from 28 balls. Harris facing. That's straight up in the air. He smashed that a long way.
That's a demoralising sight for any bowler, seeing the ball sail over the fence.
The total is now 7 for 302. That over helped the run rate somewhat. We're about to see a change in the bowling. The required run rate looks a fairly comfortable 1 and over. That's straight up in the air. Really looks in fine nick today.
A bit uppish, but safe enough, 4 runs.
Out, he's caught him. Partnership for the 8th wicket is now worth 100. Adams eventually goes for 54. That was a fine innings from Adams.